For years, these actresses dominated K-dramas and were impossible to ignore, until suddenly, they vanished from the spotlight. But after all, what really happened to each of them? For years, Shin Mina was considered one of South Korea's most beloved and consistent actresses. With a natural charisma and a gentle presence that easily won over the audience, she starred in several hit dramas, becoming a staple in the industry. Projects like My Girlfriend is a Gumiho and Oh My Venus helped consolidate her image as a romantic, sweet, and extremely captivating protagonist. Whenever she appeared in a drama, the public knew quality was coming. But then, something began to change. Unlike other actresses who disappeared due to scandals or controversies, Shin Mina's disappearance was silent, almost imperceptible. Gradually, her television presence became rarer. The gaps between projects began to grow, and that face, once so frequent on Korean screens, simply stopped appearing with the same intensity. To many fans, it seemed like she had vanished, even without ever announcing an official hiatus. And that's where the most interesting point comes in. In reality, Shin Mina never fully left the industry. What happened was a strategic and personal shift. Over the years, she became extremely selective with her roles, prioritizing quality over quantity. Additionally, her long-term relationship and recent marriage to actor Kim Woo-bin also directly influenced her career pace, especially during the period when he faced health issues. Shin Mina partially stepped away from the spotlight to focus more on her personal life. The result? A collective sense of disappearance. In the world of K-dramas, being away for a short time is enough for the audience to feel that someone has completely vanished. And in her case, this withdrawal wasn't loud. There was no scandal, no public explanation. It was just silence. Jun Ji-hyun was once, without exaggeration, one of South Korea's biggest stars. From the explosive success of My Sassy Girl to the global phenomenon, My Love from the Star, she built a career that was practically untouchable. Every appearance became an event. Every drama was anticipated as something grand. For years, she was synonymous with absolute success, an actress who dominated both film and television with ease. But at some point, that changed. After Legend of the Blue Sea, her screen presence began to decline drastically. The intervals between projects grew longer, and the actress who was once a constant simply stopped appearing frequently. For many fans, the feeling was clear. She had disappeared. And the strangest part is that there were no scandals, controversies, or any public crisis to explain it. Like Shin Mina, Jun Ji-hyun's disappearance was silent. In reality, what happened was a very similar choice between the two. After getting married and starting her family, Jun Ji-hyun also decided to prioritize her personal life and reduce her workload. Furthermore, she became extremely selective, accepting only very specific projects. In an industry where actors appear all the time, staying away for years is enough to look like a complete disappearance. And that is exactly what happened to her. Before you think otherwise, Jun Ji-hyun didn't fall, wasn't canceled, and didn't lose her place. She simply stepped away. And this type of absence, without explanation or fanfare, ends up being much more intriguing than any scandal. Da-hae was one of the most popular faces of K-dramas in the 2000s. With hits like My Girl, she quickly won over the public with her charisma, talent, and a light presence that made any story work. At the time, she was seen as one of the industry's great promises, constantly appearing in major productions and building a solid career on Korean television. But suddenly, she vanished. Unlike other actresses who simply slow down, Da-hae's case drew attention because her withdrawal was much more noticeable. She stopped appearing in Korean dramas for long periods, and that frequent presence simply vanished from the screens. To many fans, it seemed like she had completely abandoned her career out of nowhere. However, the reality was different. Da-hae didn't leave the industry. She shifted her focus. The actress began investing heavily in the Chinese market, participating in projects outside of Korea, and rebuilding her career in another country. This transition caused her to practically disappear from the radar of the Korean and international audience that follows K-dramas, creating the sensation of a total disappearance. Additionally, her personal life began to take up more space than her career, further distancing her image from the traditional spotlight of the Korean industry. The result was inevitable. A star who was once everywhere was now rarely seen, giving the impression that she had vanished completely. But deep down, she never truly disappeared. She just stopped being where the audience was used to seeing her. And sometimes, that is more than enough to look like a total disappearance. Yoon Eun-hye was, for years, one of South Korea's most loved, popular, and promising actresses. Her success in dramas like Gung and Coffee Prince not only consolidated her career, but also helped define an entire generation of K-drama fans. She had charisma, versatility, and a unique connection with the audience. being constantly cast in leading roles and major productions. It seemed impossible that someone with that level of popularity would simply disappear. But that is exactly what happened. Over the years, Yoon Eun-hye began appearing less and less in new projects, until her presence practically vanished from dramas. What was once a rising career turned into a strange silence, leaving many fans confused about what had actually happened. And unlike other cases, there is a key point here. During her participation in a program in China, the actress was involved in a plagiarism scandal related to fashion designs. The controversy gained momentum quickly, generating intense criticism and directly affecting her public image. Even without an official cancellation, the impact was strong enough to shake her career and distance her from major productions. After that, her returns were rare and discreet. The result was a sharp drop in visibility. An actress who once dominated K-dramas began to be remembered more for her silence than for her recent works. And in an industry as competitive as the Korean one, disappearing for a few years is enough to lose your space. In Yoon Eun-hye's case, it wasn't just a choice. It was a combination of controversy, withdrawal, and time. And this ended up creating one of the most real disappearance sensations on this list. Han Ga-in was, for a long time, considered one of South Korea's most beautiful actresses. With an elegant image and a striking presence, she gained enormous popularity in dramas like The Moon Embracing the Sun, where her talent and charisma placed her at the top of the industry. At that moment, everything indicated that her career would continue in steady growth, with more and more projects and prominence. But then, she simply disappeared. Unlike cases involving scandals or controversies, Han Ga-in's withdrawal was completely silent. After reaching her peak, she began to drastically reduce her appearances in dramas, eventually reaching long periods without any relevant project. For the public, the feeling was clear. One of the biggest stars of the time had vanished without explanation. And in a way, there was a reason, but not the kind of reason that makes headlines. Han Ga-in decided to prioritize her personal life. Married to actor Yoon Jung-hyun, she chose to step away from the spotlight to focus on her family and a more private routine. This type of decision, while understandable, is rare in an industry where constant exposure is practically mandatory to stay relevant. Because of this, years went by, and her absence only increased the sense of disappearance. Her returns did happen, but always in a very specific and spaced-out way, never resuming the intense pace of before. And in a scenario where new names emerge all the time, staying away for so long makes even big stars seem to have vanished completely. In the end, Han Ga-in didn't disappear due to scandal or failure. She simply chose to leave the stage. And sometimes this kind of silent exit is what most leaves the audience with the feeling that someone simply vanished.